Most people have no idea how their own mind betrays them. Charlie Munger's last warning. Your mind is lying to you. This is his final warning. You're smart. You're rational. You trust your own judgment to navigate the complexities of life, don't you? But what if I told you that the single greatest obstacle to your success, your financial freedom, your peace of mind, isn't some external economic force you can't control? What if it's far more insidious, lurking within the very architecture of your own skull? Charlie Munger, the legendary partner to Warren Buffett, and arguably the most lucid thinker of the last century, issued a chilling, profound warning. He declared that most people, even the exceptionally intelligent, have absolutely no idea how their own minds are subtly, continuously, and devastatingly betraying them. They are caught in invisible psychological traps, hardwired biases that steer them towards catastrophic decisions, costing them fortunes, opportunities, and happiness, at all without them ever truly realizing what's happening. Today, on the Munger Almanac, we're not just exploring a concept, we're revealing Charlie Munger's last, most vital warning. This isn't just about understanding financial markets. It's about understanding the internal operating system that controls your reality. If you fail to grasp these insights, your own mind is set to sabotage everything you've ever built, worse than any market crash could. Prepare to see yourself and the world with a brutal, piercing clarity you never imagined possible. For decades, while others obsessed over balance sheets and market indicators, Munger delved into something far more fundamental: the human mind itself. He saw a pervasive, silent epidemic, what he termed the psychology of human misjudgment. These aren't just academic theories. They're the fundamental flaws in our cognitive machinery. Ancient wiring that once served our ancestors, but now in the modern world, leads us astray. Munger didn't just diagnose the problem. He offered the ultimate guide to navigate this labyrinth of irrationality, beginning with the most important territory: your own mind.
Well, I am very interested in the subject of human misjudgment, and Lord knows I've created a good bit of it. I don't think I've created my full statistical share, and I think that one of the reasons was that I tried to do something about this terrible ignorance I left the Harvard Law School with when I saw this patterned irrationality, which was so extreme, and I had no theory or anything to deal with it, but I could see that it was extreme and I could see that it was patterned. I just started to create my own system of psychology, partly by casual reading, but largely from personal experience, and I used that pattern to help me get through life. Fairly late in life, I stumbled into this book, Influence.
Let's expose some of these treacherous traps. These aren't abstract ideas. They are active saboteurs of your logic, your potential, and your peace. Confirmation bias. We see what we want to see. First, and arguably most insidious, is the confirmation bias. This isn't just a tendency. It's a relentless drive within your mind to seek out, interpret, and remember information that confirms what you already believe. Simultaneously, it effortlessly dismisses, discounts, or twists anything that contradicts your existing worldview. Think about your social media feed, your preferred news channels, or even your conversations with friends. How often do you genuinely seek out an argument against your strongest opinions? Your mind isn't seeking objective truth. It's relentlessly seeking validation for its existing narrative. This bias traps you in echo chambers, blinds you to critical disconfirming evidence, and forces you into decisions based on a dangerously incomplete, self-serving understanding of reality. As Munger famously stated, man is happiest when his mind is most occupied in confirming his own prejudices. This isn't just about politics or religion. It's why investors cling to losing stocks, why leaders ignore warning signs, and why brilliant people can double down on terrible ideas. Your mind is building a prison of its own making, confirming its own biases until it's too late. Bias 2. Overconfidence bias. Visual. Next, we confront the pervasive overconfidence bias. We all believe we're above average, don't we? Smarter, more disciplined, better drivers, superior investors. This isn't just a mild ego boost. It's a cognitive delusion that causes us to vastly overestimate our own abilities, our knowledge, and the precision of our predictions. This potent bias breeds arrogance, pushing individuals into making massive, ill-advised bets based on flimsy information or a fleeting sense of genius. It prevents genuine learning by making us dismiss feedback and ignore our critical limitations. It is, without exaggeration, a guaranteed recipe for financial ruin, entrepreneurial collapse, and profound personal disappointment. Think of the thousands of investors who lose fortunes trying to time the market, convinced they possess a foresight that eludes the collective wisdom of millions, or the entrepreneurs who launch groundbreaking ideas without proper market validation, certain their vision is infallible. Munger, with his characteristic humility, cautioned, "If you don't have a little bit of insecurity, you're an idiot." True wisdom, he taught, is not knowing everything, but understanding the vast, humbling expanse of what you don't know. This bias makes you your own worst enemy, leading you to believe your hype rather than your reality. Bias 3. Reciprocation tendency visual. Then there's the subtly dangerous reciprocation tendency. This is your mind's deep, often unconscious, biological imperative to return favors, gifts, or concessions, even when doing so is not truly in your best interest. Master manipulators, from cunning salespeople to seasoned negotiators, exploit this human wiring with ruthless efficiency. They offer a seemingly small gesture, a free sample, a minor concession in a negotiation, an unexpected compliment, knowing that your mind will then feel a powerful, almost irresistible compulsion to reciprocate with a much larger one. This bias can trap you into unfavorable business deals, compel you to purchase things you absolutely don't need, or make social commitments you later bitterly regret. You feel obligated, trapped by a sense of fairness, even when the initial favor was merely a strategic opening for their gain. Munger, ever the shrewd observer, warned, "If you want a fair deal, you don't start with a gift. Guess." Understanding this bias is crucial for protecting your boundaries, safeguarding your resources, and making truly independent, objective decisions in a world full of hidden agendas. Bias 4. Social proof bandwagon effect visual. And perhaps one of the most destructive biases in our hyper-connected, social media-driven age, the social proof or bandwagon effect. This is your profound, deeply ingrained tendency to believe or act in a certain way simply because many other people are doing it. Your mind assumes that if the majority is doing something, it must be right. This dangerous bias is the fuel for market bubbles, mass hysteria, sudden panics, and the rapid spread of absurd fads. It makes you follow the herd, even when that herd is stampeding directly towards a cliff. Think about the speculative frenzies throughout history, the infamous Dutch tulip mania, the dot-com bubble of the late 90s, or even recent irrational cryptocurrency surges. Logic and individual thought are often utterly replaced by contagious social momentum. Munger observed how quickly this can deteriorate even great institutions. It's amazing how great a company can deteriorate when many are doing stupid things. If you don't actively cultivate independent thought, your mind will betray you by forcing you to become just another sheep in the stampede, caught up in the collective delusion. Bias 5. Incentive-caused BIAs visual. Let's delve into incentive-caused bias. This is the powerful. It's often subconscious. It's a tendency for people, including you, to align their thinking and behavior with their personal incentives. Even if those incentives are perverse or lead to detrimental outcomes for others, as Munger famously stated, "Show me the incentive, and I'll show you the outcome." This profound insight reveals why, for instance, a stockbroker might recommend high-commission products that are not in your best interest, why a doctor might order unnecessary tests that benefit their practice, or why a consultant might prolong a project. Your mind begins to rationalize decisions that directly benefit you, even if they are far from the most rational, efficient, or ethical course of action overall. This bias is a silent, insidious killer of objective judgment, because it's so deeply ingrained in human nature, often remaining completely unnoticed by the person experiencing it. To counteract it, Munger urged us to ruthlessly analyze the incentives, not just in others, but meticulously within ourselves. Understanding this bias is fundamental to truly seeing how people are motivated, for better or worse. Bias 6. Availability misweighing tendency visual. Consider the availability misweighing tendency. Your mind has a powerful bias to overemphasize information that is readily available, vivid or easily recalled, while downplaying or ignoring more comprehensive but less dramatic data. Think about shocking news headlines, sensationalized stories, or anecdotal evidence. Your brain prioritizes what's easily available in memory, even if it's statistically insignificant or unrepresentative. This is why people might fear flying more than driving despite the statistics, or invest in a trending stock based on a single, compelling story, rather than deep fundamental analysis. It's why you might judge an entire group based on one vivid encounter. This bias betrays you by distorting your perception of risk and reward, leading you to make decisions based on easily accessible, often emotionally charged, but incomplete information. Munger learned to always dig deeper, beyond the headline or the most recent anecdote, understanding that true wisdom lies in comprehensive, unbiased data. Bias 7. Commitment and consistency, tendency, visual. Finally, one of the most difficult to overcome, the commitment and consistency tendency. Once you've made a decision, publicly committed to a stance, or invested significant effort, your mind develops a powerful, often irrational drive to remain consistent with that past action or statement. Even when new information proves your initial decision was wrong, your ego, your reputation, and your internal desire for consistency make it incredibly hard to admit error and change course. This bias is why companies continue pouring money into failing projects, why individuals cling to bad relationships, or why politicians refuse to concede points even when logic dictates. Your mind betrays you by valuing consistency over correctness. Munger famously admired people who could kill their darlings, abandon cherished ideas or commitments when the evidence demanded it. Without this ruthless intellectual honesty, you will be perpetually trapped by your past decisions, unable to adapt and truly learn. The cumulative cost of cognitive blindness visual. These aren't just fascinating psychological curiosities. These biases, working in concert, are the most powerful engines of self-inflicted ruin imaginable. They don't just lead to bad financial decisions, buying at the peak of euphoria, selling in the depths of panic, chasing every fleeting fad, trusting every flawed guru. Their destructive reach extends far, far beyond your bank account. They lead to stagnant careers by making you resistant to critical feedback, causing you to overvalue your own contributions, and preventing you from adapting to new realities. Broken relationships by fueling confirmation bias in arguments, making you stubbornly refuse to admit fault and preventing genuine empathy. Missed opportunities by making you blind to true innovation because it doesn't fit your existing models, or too overconfident to seize a hidden gem. And ultimately a life of quiet mediocrity, trapped in vicious cycles of flawed thinking, perpetually repeating the same errors and consistently underperforming your true potential. The greatest tragedy, Munger insisted, isn't a lack of raw intelligence. It's the profound inability to effectively use the intelligence you already possess, simply because you are enslaved by these pervasive, invisible mental traps. This, my friends, is Charlie Munger's ultimate warning. This internal collapse is indeed worse than any market crash because it dictates your response to every external crisis. Munger's ultimate defense, the path to unrivaled clarity visual. But Munger was never just a grim diagnostician of problems. He was a master problem solver. He didn't just expose the poisons. He meticulously crafted the antidote, provided the ultimate tools to arm yourself against your own mind's betrayal, to escape the traps, and to build a life of consistent, rational excellence. First, his legendary inversion principle. This isn't just a trick, it's a fundamental shift in perspective. Instead of solely asking, "How can I succeed?" Munger rigorously urged you to ask, "How and where could I fail miserably?" Actively identify every conceivable way you could ruin your life, your investments, your career, your relationships. Then, and only then, scrupulously avoid those paths with every fiber of your being. This forces you to confront brutal realities, revealing pitfalls you'd never see if you were merely chasing positive outcomes directly. As Munger famously quipped, "All I want to know is where I'm going to die, so I'll never go there." This simple yet profound mental model bypasses many biases by focusing on prevention rather than naive pursuit. Second, the multidisciplinary latticework of mental models. This is the cornerstone of Munger's genius. He didn't believe in mastering one field. He argued you must rigorously build a web, a latticework, of the greatest ideas, the foundational principles, drawn from every major discipline: psychology, history, physics, biology, engineering, mathematics, philosophy. By having this rich tapestry of diverse mental models, you gain multiple distinct lenses through which to view every problem and opportunity. You identify hidden patterns, predict outcomes with far greater accuracy, and crucially, you avoid the devastating tunnel vision caused by thinking solely within a narrow, single discipline. This broad, interconnected knowledge isn't just smart. It literally rewires your brain, making it far more resilient to the biases. You've got to have many models, Munger insisted. You've got to have a latticework of models in your head. And if you don't have this latticework, you'll go through life and you'll miss a lot of what's really happening. Third, radical self-awareness and relentless humility. Munger practiced continuous, brutal self-assessment. He was famously ruthless in admitting his own errors and biases, almost celebrating his mistakes as learning opportunities. He understood that recognizing you are susceptible to these biases, that your mind will try to betray you, is the absolute first, most critical step towards countering them. You must actively challenge your own deeply held beliefs. You must fervently seek out disconfirming evidence, even when it's uncomfortable. And you must ferociously protect yourself from the ego's desire for mere validation. Ask for honest, even painful feedback from trusted objective sources. This unwavering self-criticism, this radical humility, is your most formidable defense against your own mind betraying you. If you don't get the biases out of your own conduct, you're in deep trouble, he starkly warned. Finally, Munger lived by the power of patience, deliberation, and lifelong learning. The antidote to biased, impulsive thinking is often just simple, disciplined patience. Take your time, think slowly, deliberate, and continually, relentlessly learn. Munger was a voracious reader, constantly absorbing new knowledge from every conceivable field. He understood that building this latticework and countering biases is not a one-time fix, but a continuous, never-ending process. It requires immense discipline to avoid impulsive actions driven by emotional biases. His life was a testament to the power of becoming a learning machine, always seeking the truth, no matter how uncomfortable. The wisdom of Charlie Munger isn't merely academic, it's a lifeline. Your mind, left unchecked, can be your greatest enemy, subtly sabotaging every decision, every opportunity, every ounce of potential you possess. But armed with Munger's profound insights, it can be transformed into your most powerful, most accurate, most reliable ally. His ultimate warning has been delivered. The choice now is starkly clear. Will you continue to operate on autopilot, a passive, unwitting victim of your own invisible biases, perpetually underperforming and unaware? Or will you embrace Munger's timeless mental models, rigorously train your mind, and fundamentally transform your decisions, your wealth, and the entire trajectory of your life? The greatest competitive advantage you can ever possess isn't found in markets or algorithms or exclusive networks. It resides squarely within your own head, and Charlie Munger just handed you the definitive map to unlock it. If you are ready to master your mind, transcend mediocrity, and unlock unparalleled wisdom, subscribe to the Munger Almanac right now. Hit that like button to ensure this vital warning from Charlie Munger reaches more people who desperately need to hear it. And in the comments below, tell us, which of these powerful mental biases has affected you the most, and what steps are you taking to overcome it? Your insight could help others on this crucial journey,